What if you sincerely wanted to follow Jesus, and he turned you away? For 3 people in the Bible, that's pretty much what happened. Huge crowds were flocking to Jesus, captivated by his teaching and miracles. But when a religious expert and 2 other men tried to get on board personally, Jesus' response was shockingly blunt. At first glance, that seems kind of weird, doesn't it? Why would Jesus, the one who said, "Follow me," seem to pump the brakes on these eager volunteers? Well, before we break it down, let's read the passage this all comes from. It's found in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 9, verses 57 through 62. As they were going along the road, someone said to him, "I will follow you wherever you go." And Jesus said to him, "Foxes have holes, and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head." To another, he said, "Follow me." But he said, "Lord, let me first go and bury my father." And Jesus said to him, "Leave the dead to bury their own dead. But as for you, go and proclaim the kingdom of God." Yet another said, "I will follow you, Lord, but let me first say farewell to those at my home." Jesus said to him, "No one who puts his hand to the plow and looks back is fit for the kingdom of God." The reasons Jesus gave in these verses hold up a powerful mirror to our own lives, showing us the subtle things that might be keeping us from really following him. So, let's break down the 3 obstacles Jesus called out: the need for comfort, the habit of procrastination, and the danger of looking back. The first man to step up was a scribe, a respected religious scholar. He makes a really bold, all-in-one statement. "Teacher, I will follow you wherever you go." You'd think Jesus would say, "Awesome, welcome to the team." Instead, Jesus hits him with a serious reality check. He says, "Foxes have dens and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head." Jesus wasn't just being poetic here. He was constantly on the move, with no permanent address, relying entirely on the hospitality of others. He knew the scribe was used to a life of stability and respect. So, his response was a challenge. Are you willing to trade your security for a life of radical trust in God? The real issue here is our attachment to comfort. It's that desire to follow Jesus, but only as long as it doesn't mess with our own lifestyle, our career, or our feeling of safety. Jesus makes it clear that following him isn't just a spiritual upgrade to an already comfortable life. It's being willing to trade it all for something far more valuable. He doesn't sell a false bill of goods. He wants us to count the cost. Next up, Jesus gives a direct invitation to someone. "Follow me." The man's reply sounds perfectly reasonable. He says, "Lord, first let me go and bury my father." Now, this probably doesn't mean that his dad's funeral was tomorrow. In that culture, it was a common way of saying, "Let me wait until my father eventually passes away. I get my inheritance, and all my family duties are settled." This could take months or even years. It was the ultimate, "I'll do it later," postponing obedience by putting family obligations and future plans ahead of Jesus' immediate call. Jesus' reply is one of his most jarring statements. "Let the dead bury their own dead, but you go and proclaim the kingdom of God." He's basically saying, let the spiritually dead get caught up in temporary, earthly affairs. The call to join God's mission is urgent. It's a top priority that can't be put on a waiting list. And doesn't that hit home? How often do we say, "I'll get serious about God once I'm out of school, once I'm married, once the kids are grown, or once I'm financially secure. Jesus cuts right through that, saying the time is now. You can't serve God and your own preferred timeline. A third man comes up and says, "I will follow you, Lord, but first let me go back and say goodbye to my family." Again, it sounds polite and responsible, right? But Jesus sees a divided heart. He responds with a brilliant farming metaphor. No one who puts a hand to the plow and looks back is fit for service in the kingdom of God. Wow. Anyone who's ever tried to mow a straight line knows this is true. You can't forge a straight path ahead if you're constantly looking over your shoulder. This man wanted to follow Jesus, but his heart was still tethered to the expectations and comforts of his old life. He was trying to face two directions at once. Jesus teaches that following him means making a clean break with whatever holds us back. Our loyalty to him has to be greater than our loyalty to family approval or the pull of the past. He's not saying family is bad, but that our love for him must be number one. If we're always looking back with regret or longing, we're not fit for where the kingdom is going. These three conversations aren't just ancient history. They're a checkup for our own hearts. Do you see yourself in any of these would-be followers? Is the desire for a comfortable, predictable life keeping you from taking a real step in faith? Are you telling God, not yet, just waiting for the perfect time while He's calling you to obedience? Or are you trying to follow Jesus while keeping one foot firmly planted in a life you're supposed to be leaving behind? Jesus didn't challenge these men because he was mean or unloving. He challenged them because he demands a level of commitment they just weren't ready for yet. He was brutally honest about the cost of following him. It means putting him above our comfort, our schedule, and even our most precious relationships. He doesn't want fans who just show up for the highlight reel. He wants disciples who are ready to deny themselves, take up their cross, and follow him for real. The invitation isn't easy, but it's the only one that leads to true life. So the real question isn't whether Jesus is worthy of everything we have. He is. The question is, are we willing to give it?